Hello everyone, I am Rahul and welcome back to my channel Rahul Education Academy. In this video, we will be discussing about the wave nature of the electromagnetic radiation. But before we learn about this topic, it is very important to know why we are learning about this topic at this point of our lecture series. In the previous videos, we learned about two different atomic models, that is, plum pudding model of atom proposed by J.J. Thomson and nuclear model of atom proposed by Rutherford. As we know, while this model to some extent successfully described the atom then nevertheless had some serious drawbacks. Hence, it was important to postulate a new atomic model. This atomic model was proposed by Bohr. But before we learn in detail about the Bohr atomic model, it is very important to learn about the scientific advances that took place which directly helped Bohr in proposing a new atomic model, and hence we will be first understanding about different scientific advances prior to the Bohr atomic model. To start with, in this video, we will be learning about the wave nature of the electromagnetic waves. During the mid-19th century, physicists were actively studying the absorption and emission of radiation by heated objects. These thermal radiations was actively studied in second half of 1800, and in 1870 scientist James C. Maxwell proposed the theory of electromagnetic waves and about the emission of electromagnetic waves by charged particles. Maxwell was the first one who was able to describe the phenomena in proper way about the radiation coming out of a heated object, and hence he was also instrumental about the electromagnetic waves of charged particles. He proposed that when a charged he proposed that when charged particles moved in acceleration, when a charged particle moved under acceleration, it generates an electric field as well as a magnetic field. It generates an electric field as well as a magnetic field. And the direction of this electric field and this magnetic field is perpendicular to each other. I'm just drawing a rough diagram here. So he told that whenever a charged particle moves with acceleration, there will be a generation of electric field and there will be a generation of a magnetic field. And this electric and magnetic field are transmitted in the form of waves and hence are called electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiation. Now let us understand some of the properties of electromagnetic radiation. The first important property about electromagnetic radiation is that the direction of acceleration of the charged particle is perpendicular to the electric field and the magnetic field that it generates. So if the charged particle is moving along the x direction, let's say this is x direction, and you have a y direction and you have a z direction, and you have electric field on in the z direction, you have electric field in this direction, and you have magnetic field in this direction, then electric field is along z direction, magnetic field is along y direction, and the propagation of wave is along x direction. So as you can see, so the propagation of charged particle is along x direction. So as you can see, each of the quantity, that is the direction of acceleration of charged particle, the electric field and the magnetic field generated are all orthogonal to each other. The second important property about electromagnetic wave is that it requires no medium to travel, and hence it can travel in vacuum, unlike sound waves or any wave traveling inside the water. Electromagnetic waves can travel in vacuum, and this is important. We will see later why this is an important property. The third important property of electromagnetic waves is that electromagnetic waves can be differentiated based on its wavelength or frequency. So based on that, the electromagnetic radiation can be divided in seven different parts. It can be radio waves, it can be microwave, it can be infrared, it can be visible light, it can be ultraviolet, it can be X-rays, and it can be gamma rays. There are seven different types of electromagnetic radiation. But it is important to note that it's not that X-ray will always have a same wavelength or frequency. It's a range. And the entire range, that range from radio waves to gamma rays, constitute what is known as electromagnetic spectrum. Now, as I in this specific property, I've talked about wavelength or frequency. It is very important to understand what do you mean by wavelength and what do you mean by frequency. As I said, wavelength and frequency is very central in identifying what kind of electromagnetic radiation you are dealing with. So let us understand first what do I mean by wavelength. So suppose you have an axis and you have electromagnetic wave, pardon my drawing, is propagating. Sorry, I'll draw another one, a proper one. So you have axis and you have a wave propagating. So the distance between these 2 points, it is called crest, or distance between these 2 points called trough, or the distance between these 2 points is the wavelength, denoted by symbol lambda. Denoted by symbol lambda. Denoted by symbol lambda. Or even this point is lambda. The reason I am saying this is that if you consider this is to be the starting point and this to be the end point, then you can see that the wave is repeating itself after that. It is just repeating. So this is the unique part of the wave. this is your starting point, then from this point to this point you have the unique wave. After that it is just repeating itself. So you can see that the wavelength is the lowest repeating part of the entire wave, because wave repeats itself. So the minimum repeating part of the wave is wavelength. So here the wavelength is this, between the starting point and to that point where the wave, after which it will start repeating itself. The least repeating unit of the wave is the wavelength. Least repeating unit of the wave is wavelength. Now let us understand about frequency. We understood about wavelength. Now we'll understand about frequency. The unit of frequency is second inverse, and it is defined as the number of waves that pass a given point in 1 second. So, number of waves that will pass through a given point in 1 second is your frequency. Let us understand again. So, as I said, I have a wave like this. So, this is the wavelength. Remember that the unit of wavelength, as it said length, the unit of wavelength is meter. The SI unit is meter. Now, this is the least repeating unit of the wave, and hence this is the wavelength. This. Now, suppose in 1 second, in 1 second time, in 1 second, the wave, this much wave travel, this much. So this is the 2 unit of waves which is traveling in 1 second. So the frequency will become 2. So frequency is number of waves traveling through a given point in 1 second. Now, if you remember, I told you that electromagnetic waves require no medium to travel. They require no medium to travel. And hence, they can travel with a speed of light, which is the speed of light is denoted by c, is 2.99 7925 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 meter second inverse. So this is the speed by which electromagnetic waves travel. And I told you about frequency and wavelength. And the speed of light has a direct relationship with frequency and wavelength. The speed of light is denoted by c, which equals frequency is divided by mu v lambda. This is an important relation. This is speed of light, this is frequency, and this is wavelength. Another important thing about waves is the wave number. And wave number is a simple quantity. Wave number is simply represented as inverse of the wavelength. Wave number is simply the inverse of wave length. Hence, it is also defined as the number of wavelength per unit of length. How much wavelength you have per unit of length is the wave number. So in this video, we learned about the wave nature of electromagnetic radiation, the contribution made by Maxwell, and we also learned about frequency, wavelength, and wave number. Thank you.